On today's podcast, we're going to be talking about avoiding slips, trips, and falls. So stay tuned. Welcome to Warehouse Safety Tips. If you're a seasoned vodcast viewer, this vodcast is going to be different from most that you watch. It's based around exactly what the name implies, warehouse safety tips. And since the people in this industry are busy, we know that time is money, so each episode will be as short and to the point as possible. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the vodcast. We recently got to catch up with our friend and fellow partner, Blaine J. Hoffman of the Safety Pro podcast and the author of the new book, Rethinking SAFETY Culture. Make sure that you follow Blaine, make sure that you read his book, and make sure that you listen and watch the Safety Pro podcast. He is an outstanding source for everything safety. The other day, I was able to talk to him and get a list of his 5 safety topics that he feels are going to be most advantageous, or at least at this point, advantageous. Maybe not the top 5, maybe not the bottom 5, but 5 great places to start. And today we're going to go over one of those items, and that is avoiding slips, trips, and falls. So what do you do to make sure that you can avoid that? The very first thing is regular inspections and being proactive instead of reactive. So what does that mean? That means that you go through and you do walkthroughs. You are making sure that everything that could be proactively handled is. It might be making sure that you have good surfaces covered from being able to slip on them in the form of tape that has some sort of a stick to it or a grit. It might mean putting up signs when there is ice, snow, or just moisture in general. It might be an area where there might be a slick area because of fluids coming from a machine. It's essentially going through and making sure that everything that could possibly be slipped, tripped, or fallen on is taken care of. And that is going to be number 1. The second thing is going to be going through and clearly marking wet surfaces. So let's say that you see an area that has a wet surface, a slick surface, that there is potential falls that could happen. Make sure that you clear that area and mark it. And it's a great idea to make sure that if you leave to go get, say, a sign or maintenance or whoever is going to handle that issue, that you leave somebody there so that while you're gone, an accident doesn't occur. It might sound like overkill, but it's something that just, taking somebody away for that little bit of time could save an issue. The next thing is going to be implementing non-slick and slip flooring or safety tape. So again, putting grit into areas that is potentially going to be an issue, having carpets put down or mats, or making sure that you have some sort of a floor tape that's got that grit or that stick that's going to allow you to not slip, anti-slip. Also, another thing is you're probably wearing steel-toed boots. Make sure that your boots are also non-slip, to where they are going to provide you the best possible traction in situations like that. 3, or I should say 4, is going to be going through and maintaining your lighting. So it might sound trivial, but if you go into an area that is not well lit, you might trip over something. You might not see that something's wet or slick. And so going through and making sure that your lighting is always top notch and that people can see everything, surface, anything that's in the way. Hopefully there isn't anything in the way, but just going around corners, in the form of walking and or with machinery, that they can see everything and that everything is well lit. And then of course the last thing is something that we always talk about, and I actually included it as an actual list item today, and that is training. Making sure that you go through safety drills and you conduct safety training to where people know everything that we just mentioned and anything else that you come up with to make sure that in a case of a slip, trip, or fall potential, that they know what to do to be proactive, and that they know what to do if they happen to be reactive and find something that you weren't able to take care of before it happened. So once again, we want to thank you for being part of another episode of Warehouse Safety Tips. I want to again ask you to follow, engage with, and connect with Blaine J. Hoffman because he is, again, just an absolute excellent source for safety in every aspect on the Safety Pro podcast. And again, make sure that you check out his book, Rethinking SAFETY Culture. And until we talk to you next time, have a great day. And above all else, stay safe. And here is a word from one of our sponsors.
It's scientifically unexplainable. It's virtually indestructible. And it's taking over the entire planet. But in a really good way. It's Mighty Line floor tape, the most durable floor tape in the world. 7 times thicker than average floor tape. Beveled to endure pounding warehouse traffic. And backed with a super strong peel and stick adhesive, so you'll never have to worry about painting shop floors again. Mighty Line floor tape, the only durable stripe.